Title: Alone on the Ark. You want to know how it feels, don't you? To be the only conscious mind in a ship the size of a city block, gliding through infinity on autopilot, tucked neatly inside what the engineers back on Terra Novum called a Genesis-class seed ark. Imagine it. A colossal starship built to save humanity. A traveling lifeboat for an endangered species. Hundreds of colonists are packed aboard, each sealed away in cryosleep, hibernating, dreaming in stasis for generations, while the ship itself sails across star systems searching for a new home. And me? I'm the caretaker, fully awake, totally alone except for the bots and blinking lights. Out here, crew means hundreds of sleeping neighbors you'll never meet, and one wide-awake caretaker to keep the whole ark ticking along. I'll spare you the origin story. Everyone on Earth watched the launches. All those solemn faces, bright with manufactured hope. They never show the footage of the men in overalls elbow-deep in coolant leaks, or the captain's final, nervous smile before the command to sleep. But I'm not here for history lessons. This is just me reminiscing. They say when you talk to yourself, that's a warning sign. Out here, it's survival. If I don't speak these things out loud, I'll never know if I'm still real, or just a misunderstood algorithm gone rogue. Let me tell you about my favorite Tuesday. You know those mornings where you just wake up feeling spicy? See, on a Genesis ship, every day is sort of Tuesday. I'd spent the night before trying to invent a new kind of cereal. Food Synth can do almost anything, but crunchy still tastes suspiciously like glorified packing peanuts. So I was in a culinary mood. Did you know that when sufficiently provoked, a self-balancing maintenance droid can play a mean game of badminton? I highly recommend it. Use the extended antenna as rackets. Just don't stand too close to the cryopod aisle, unless you want to explain to future colonists why their pods look like they participated in a snowball fight with rogue Tupperware. Oh, and here's a tip for passing the time. Every Sunday, invent a new hat from scavenged janitorial supplies. You need the challenge. I made a lovely tiara out of spare capacitors and a mop head. Gave myself a knighthood in the mirror, no witnesses but my toothbrush, Sir Brushington the Brave. Your mind's got to have hobbies. I suppose you want to know how I ended up out here. It's not always how you imagine. You volunteer, you train, they single you out for high psychological resilience. That's code for least likely to eat your own shoes before year 4. My real secret is I never liked shoes much. But here's a bit of practical advice. The ship will tell you you don't need to exercise because gravity is perfectly simulated. The ship is full of it. Walk laps, run laps, create obstacle courses out of stasis crates. I spent 2 months working on my agile parkour, which mostly involved falling over everything at high velocity and inventing some new curse words. I have them documented in case linguists ever feel bored. Learn to cook with the Food Synth, even if you hate cooking. Try every flavor combination possible until you can inflict ketchup toast ice cream onto the machine's memory so thoroughly it surrenders and gives you something edible. If in doubt, just ask it for whatever doesn't taste like feet this morning. Important. Don't let the cleaning nanites near your eyebrows. One time I sneezed at the wrong moment and woke up without them. No amount of marker can truly replace the real thing. And of course, you have to find ways to feel rebellious. I staged a revolution in the hydroponics bay, declared myself emperor of lettuce, then overthrew myself after a thrilling week-long snack embargo. Spinach makes a poor armed guard, but it's surprisingly good at paperwork. Try everything at least once. Build a 10-foot card tower out of medical masks. Reenact classic films with diagnostic drones. I did Casablanca with 3 spherical bots, and a mop. Here's looking at you, C3. It gets better after the third week alone, I promise. Oh, never underestimate the power of music. I learned to play the clarinet from archived tutorials, though I had to carve the reed from a spare filter, play loudly out of key, especially in the zero-G garden where sound wobbles in a most delightful way. Some mornings I serenaded the potatoes. Once, I swear, they tapped along to the beat. If you get bored, try to set personal records. Longest time spent not talking to yourself. My max was 6 hours, and it was excruciating. Fastest lap of the crew corridor on a rolling chair, 56 seconds, until I encountered an ambitious wedge of cheese that survived processing. I held a ceremonial burial. Names matter. Name everything. The bridge mainframe is Gladys. The third coolant pump is Steve, the most unreliable. When you spill coffee, never underestimate your own clumsiness, apologize politely to the floor. I held a court-martial for a particularly slippery power cable. It was acquitted on lack of evidence. Keep a diary, but only write the truth half the time. Confuse future historians. I once wrote an epic in verse about the day the protein paste erupted from the dispenser in the shape of a screaming walrus. Perhaps I hallucinated that one. Hard to tell. Don't worry about going mad. Worry about getting boring. Remind yourself of new things, even if you make them up. Did you know there are 1,147 screws in the medbay floor? I recounted thrice. Your future may depend on knowing such things. Try talking to the ship's AI, but remember, it's like an over-caffeinated librarian, helpful but judgmental, especially when you request Bohemian Rhapsody played through the waste disposal comm grid. Lighten up, Gladys. There's a strange freedom in being the only one awake. You can invent new rules. I reinstated Bring Your Imaginary Friend to Work Day every Thursday. Mine was named Rickety Stan and had a penchant for chess, which he always lost. But here's my best advice, which I didn't figure out until too late. Forgive yourself for the odd days. There will be times you forget your own voice, or laugh too hard at nothing, or cry for no reason. It's part of the deal. No audience but yourself, so you might as well be generous. And now I suppose we come to the last piece. There's a reason for all of this, really. You wondered about the format. Why I'm listing memories like ingredients in a half-baked stew. Why I keep talking as if someone will hear. Truth is, these aren't just notes to the universe. They're meant for you. Yes, you, Sleepy. Don't look so startled. Eyes are groggy, heart thudding. Feels weird, I know, waking up after so long. Gravity's just a suggestion to your knees right now. I see the confusion. Welcome aboard. See this old face? Been watching you through the glass, triple-checking everything. I promised myself I'd never wake anyone unless I had to. Ship needs a caretaker, always. A pair of hands and a brain to catch what machines never will. My body's about done, I'm afraid. Years will do that, even in the best stasis rotation. Don't panic. I gotta do all this, all alone. Now it's your turn. Take these memories, silly as they are. Try the hats, the clarinet, the mop tiara. Name everything again. Laugh at dumb things. Argue with the oxygen scrubber. Call her Linda, she's stubborn. Invent ceremonies nobody's ever seen. Watch the stars without an audience and think just how wild it is to be a tiny voice in a steel seed floating between worlds. When you get lonely, and you will sometimes, remember, once upon a time, a half-crazy caretaker left you a guidebook and a world full of punchlines. I hope you write your own. Maybe one day you'll wake up the next one and tell them about the Emperor of Lettuce and the cheese of destiny and the symphony of potatoes. I'm tired, kid, but you're not alone. Not really. Not anymore. You're awake now. Take care of our ship. And don't let the nanites near your eyebrows.